In a world of academic insanity, where students go into classroom after classroom, lecture hall after lecture hall, only to hear countless professors talking to a class, at least hundreds, well then there's an oasis. An oasis we know by the ever-loved acronym ESG. And our trip to ESG begins here, and now, on this 50-year-old elevator.
And when I came to ESG, I really liked the sense of community, the closeness, the familiarity that everyone had.
So the idea is that we learn together.
In class, you get to talk to teachers. You get to, ask them questions directly.
The fact that ESG prides itself for being like an experimental study group, I think it just really owns up to that.
The classroom environment that we have here really lends itself to contact and getting to know the students very well.
I live in a house in a double room, and my roommate is a senior who's staying in ESG, and he actually encouraged me to apply to ESG.
I see the community very close knit,
and so I decided to send
The fact that ESG prides itself for being
the summit. And when I sent in that application, I was accepted to study.
And that oasis of which I spoke, we're about to go in. Welcome to ESG. Teacher's office is on the side. Classroom.
Guys, pull harder, pull harder, pull harder. Come on, you don't win, don't win.
And at the heart of it all,
My name is Paula Rebusco, and I teach physics here at the Experimental Study Group.
It's going to want to induce a current going about.
Okay, try to think whether it's from the top, whether it's counterclockwise or clockwise. So teaching at ESG is extremely different from teaching in a regular classroom. I find that in a small classroom, after a few days, the students, they release any inhibition. I don't think that there is a specific ESG-like student. We have a huge spectrum of students.
How did you find out about ESG?
So I live in a house. I heard about ESG from my roommate who's staying in ESG. He's a senior and he was in ESG when he was a freshman, and he encouraged me to apply to ESG during the freshman orientation.
So I actually heard about it before I was a freshman here. It was at CPW, Campus Preview Weekend, and they had an info session about it, and I just loved it and applied before I even knew I was coming to MIT.
Why did you think it's a good place to be as a freshman?
It seemed really cool, like the small class sizes, because something I was nervous about coming to college was like the giant class sizes and like not getting to ask questions, because I get confused really easily.
So, in my kitchen, I took purple cabbage and I boiled it and I made purple cabbage indicator. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use the purple cabbage indicator to determine whether a solution is acid or base. So I've got some common household ingredients. So what we're going to do is you're going to guess whether it's an acid or a base. So why don't you guys gather around? So it's got a pigment in it. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that pigment to test the pH of various household substances. Here's acetic acid. Katie, you get to add it to our solution.
Ooh, changes color.
Changes color, right. So when we look at our pH scale here, acetic acid is going to be on what part of the scale? Acidic. All right, so there we go.
So the idea is that we learn together. Sometimes somebody has already a quick understanding of the problem, and then he or she would help the others to see it. And I think that's extremely useful.
One of the most memorable experiences I had in ESG was my freshman year when I took the class 8022 with Paula. We decided that one of the labs was going to be cooking cake batter with electricity. We have a wiring setup that hooks it up into the outlet, so that way we'll be able to run current through the cake batter. We got a glass measuring container and filled it with cake batter, and we stuck 2 large metal spoons into the container and wired them up to a transformer, and essentially just electrocuted the batter until it cooked. And we wanted to figure out, water when it has lots of ions dissolved in it, tends to conduct electricity pretty well, but as you cook the cake, the water evaporates. So maybe the resistance of the cake batter increases as the cake cooks. So we took data points and ended up finding the resistivity of cake batter as it cooked, which is not something I was intending or expecting to do when I came to MIT, but it was definitely a lot of fun.
ESG is a very lively place, and I particularly enjoy the energy and liveliness and the contact I have with students. And I sit in my office with the door open, and students are welcome to come and get help with their weekly problem sets, which are called P-sets in MIT jargon, and also ask me any questions about the material we've been going through in class. And this is very helpful for both for me to understand where their difficulties are, and also I think helps them. And in fact, I find myself teaching the people rather than just simply teaching the material.
What does ESG mean to me? I think for the most part, it means a lot of fun, because first of all, in class, you get to talk to your teachers, you get to ask them questions directly, and that interaction is a lot of fun for the learning. And then also after class, you collaborate with your classmates, and you collaborate with your friends, and you have a lot of fun doing homework together. I usually listen to music with my friends, and while doing homework, and then dance to the music. When I'm gone. We get to talk about the problems, and it's very effective that way. So I like the interactions, ESG, with the people. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone.
I think something cool about ESG is that you can sit down at the couch or on the hammock or on the beanbag with someone you have no classes with and never really had a conversation with before, and feel completely comfortable with them just because you share ESG with them. Whereas, I don't know, walking down the Infinite Corridor, you wouldn't just stop some random person and start talking to them. It's kind of a different feeling.
Also, international students are really represented in ESG. 15 to 20% of ESG students are international students and from different parts of the world.
My main really takeaway from my ESG experience as a freshman was that I was able to both work individually and also work in groups, which I think was the perfect balance for me, the opportunity to look at things on my own and be the individual lizard, and then when I was ready I could just mesh up with everyone and we can be a good cohesive group.
But the ESG concert was a freshman alumni concert, and it was really great to see alumni who had been through MIT and been through the program, and it was great to meet them and see them play, and that they had kept up with their instruments, and that even many years later they still felt the connection to ESG. What's great about ESG is the community is really awesome. I mean, when I had problem sets and homework and everything to do with classes, I really never felt like I was on my own. Everybody was going through the same thing. We were in it together, and it was a lot of fun collaborating with people and learning from people from really incredibly diverse backgrounds. I learned so much just from being next to other classmates and working with them. It's good to see other students who are already sophomores always come back, and their TAs in classes, and I see them around ESG all the time. And so hopefully I plan to be like one of them and come to Friday lunches and play in events like the ESG concert. I play violin. I did that this year, and it was a lot of fun.
When I was a student for ESG, I had a lot of fun with it. At the end of the year, I decided that I wanted to come back and be a teaching assistant for the program.
I've been TAing for 4 semesters now, and I really enjoy the opportunity to really give back to the ESG community, and I like interacting with the students. Today we're going to talk about the physics of unicycling. It's really going to be about the physics of balance in general. When I originally joined ESG, I knew I'd want to be a TA, and it's actually really beneficial because now I'm applying to grad school, and I can say, hey, I've had 4 semesters of TA experience, and not many other students get that opportunity.
When I look back at ESG after all these years and now as a graduating senior, I think ESG was really a foundational piece in my MIT experience, and being able to be in this community my freshman year and meeting people with absolutely like amazing interest and this drive, and the professors, the instructors, the TAs. I think that was an experience that really showed me that really you can really do anything at MIT.
If I were a freshman again, I would definitely join ESG. ESG is just, it's one of those special things that MIT has that not everybody knows about the program, but it's such a great program that I definitely want to be a part of it again and again and again.